Studies have been made that show that health and well-being of an individual is, of course, dependent on several things in our lives. Exercise is good for your health and well-being, longevity, eating right, staying out of trouble, not smoking, not drinking, all those negative things, of course. But the most important thing that studies have shown for our well-being and good health and longevity, believe it or not, is connections. Connections to the people we have in our lives. The deeper the connections, the more meaningful the connections, the greater health we have in our lives, the greater longevity in our lives, which might be counterintuitive or perhaps very intuitive. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from Chabad Zichron Kadesh in Montreal, Canada, where it's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. We continue in chapter 25. Alter Rebbe is empowering us that we're capable. We are capable to reveal the hidden love that we have inside of us. First, we're capable that when you have a love, you also have a fear. The fear of doing something against that love. So the love that the soul has for God has a fear that it doesn't want to disconnect. And we've spoken about the disconnect, that by doing something against the will of God brings a disconnection. In that moment, an absolute disconnection. Absolute only in the moment, not absolute forever. You don't burn in hell forever. Right? No. But in that moment, yes. So think of it of a loved one, and in the moment of doing something against your loved one, against their will, right? Doing something negative towards them, whatever it might be. It's like taking their head and putting it into a toilet bowl that's filthy. It's only a moment, and afterwards, you're, there's an embrace. Afterwards you're doing a mitzvah, right? But, of course, that moment, that's terrible. So that's what we've spoken about in the negative sense of the fear of disconnect. But in the category of doing good, meaning in wanting to connect, because that's what the hidden love, that's the hidden love that we have in our soul. It craves divine connection. As a result, and I say this parenthetically, the Alter Rebbe is not saying this over here, in a human sense, we all crave connection. We all crave connection. So if we can deal with the divine connection appropriately, then our human connections will also fall into place properly. So doing good in using your hidden love that is in the soul, that's inside of us, not something we have to create, but it's a part of us, means that we strengthen ourselves like a lion with might and determination of the heart, right? Against anything that weighs us down, like the element of earth is heavy as opposed to fire, right? That's the animal soul. It wants to weigh us down in our connection to the divine and make us lazy, that we shouldn't exert ourselves with energy and put great toil and effort in learning Tanya right now, in davening and prayers, whatever it might be. Well, specifically to labor in Torah, deep concentration. Right? We're engaged right now. So the question in how much of my soul is truly engaged in the learning right now? How much am I putting myself into it? Exerting against my natural inclination of my body. My body, wants to lean back and relax, be in a recliner. Listen to the rabbi. After all, he's teaching Tanya. There's something there. Listen half a ear because we're kind of tired, and we want to relax. I'm talking to myself. Not that I didn't want to do that now, but my body, and sometimes you do need to relax and you do need to rejuvenate yourself. Absolutely. We're talking about a life's quest. What's my life's quest? Right? Is it the laziness of the body because it is weighed down, or is it I'm going to be like a lion with great determination to combat that and to learn the Tanya we're learning right now with real, focus. As our sages say, that a person should submit to the words of Torah like an ox to the yoke, or the chamor, the ass to the load, meaning the donkey, or to the load. In other words, there's a load, and we carry it, not that we're crumbling under the load. That's our godly soul talking when we are carrying it with an enthusiasm. There's a load. It's a heavy load. But we carry it with great enthusiasm. And likewise, when it comes to prayer, right? Devout prayer and connection to God. Just as Torah is a connection to the God, the ultimate connection, prayer likewise, of course, is a connection. That we exert ourselves with strength, right? To serve God in such a, with extra giving ourselves. Yeah. And then when it comes to regards to charity, to our money, do we exert ourselves and give beyond what we're comfortable, or just what we're comfortable for? Very short class today. So the three examples we're giving are the three examples that are the pillars of the world. What are the pillars? Torah, Avodah, Gemilas Chasadim. The study of Torah, right? We exert ourselves in Torah, in Avodah, in divine service, which is prayer, and acts of loving kindness, charity. And all of them, by the fact that we exert ourselves, means because we're seeking the connection. The soul is talking, the divine soul that has the love of God, but it's hidden. Because it's hidden, I have to exert myself to express it. Because what's naturally expressive is my animal soul and body's needs. To eat, to relax, to be comfortable, to have pleasure and, immediate pleasure, and to do what we're doing right now, learning, exerting ourselves. And again, you could learn without exerting yourself, but then that's not your godly soul that is being expressed, the hidden love of the godly soul that is being tapped into. And we're missing that, losing out on that. So, which by the way, I just want to take from here, because again, a very short class finished, to take this idea in human relations. If we're not exerting ourselves in our relationships to improve them, to make them stronger, to make them better, then we're regressing. As here, as with God, so it is with our children, with our spouse, or with anybody. Now, some relationships, they're not as crucial and important. But to exert ourselves in the relationship, meaning to go the extra mile, that's, so someone will call me and I will talk to them and engage them. Okay, but how about thinking about that person, calling them, engaging them? We don't necessarily do that or think of that. All right, do we got questions? Okay. Vida, why do the neshamas of a certain Jews who look out of Judaism for connection in other religions let that happen? So one of the things that I do is I run an organization that deals with addiction. So why does someone end up becoming an addict? Is actually one of the people that we've helped. So the story was when he was a very shy young kid, and he couldn't he didn't make friends easily, and whatnot. One day at a bar mitzvah, everybody was having a great time. He wasn't having such a great time, so I don't know, someone gave him a drink, a whiskey sour or something like that, and he drank it. And all of a sudden, he got happy, and he was able to go on the dance floor and dance, and and speak to people, in not such a measured way, because he was a little tipsy, and he ended up being an alcohol and drug addict. But how did it start? He had a problem. He couldn't connect with people. He was shy, and he wanted to connect. He drank something at a bar mitzvah. It brought out, the inhibitions were, were not, his inhibitions didn't hold him back. And you know what? The drink became the answer to his problem. So addiction, drugs and alcohol are not the problem. They're the solution to a problem. That's how it's viewed. until it gets out of hand, right? But the truth is, it's not the real solution, because the solution is coming from without. Now, um, so the point I want to bring out, everybody's looking for a connection. They're looking for connection. How are you going to create that connection? Are you going to do it in an authentic way that's from your soul? Or are you going to do it in an inauthentic way from a drink? Now, sometimes the say l'chaim, that's okay because you're doing it in the proper manner, but and the connection needs to be there already, and just enhancing is different than creating it. Anyways, without going into that into more detail. But the point is, we're looking for connection. Problem is, the addict is connecting in an unhealthy way. Likewise, any Jew who seeks to find their connection outside of Judaism is an unhealthy way. And that's why we got to bring them here to learn Tanya. Can the animal soul tell you to do more kedusha than you are able to? Your animal soul is not telling you to do more holy things. Your animal soul is telling you to do more self-directed and self-fulfilling things. The animal soul, is thinking of what's good for it, not what's good for holiness. Now, animal soul might say, oh, in one instance, you know what? It's good, this Jewish thing or this mitzvah. So it could lead you. Yeah. It could. It's possible. Not usual, but it's possible, absolutely. But it will come from, because it's good for you. How do you stop this? Okay, I don't see any other questions. Beautiful. All right, folks. Rambam coming up. We continue our conversation tomorrow, and Tanya will continue now in Rambam. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from Chabad and Kedesh Montreal, Canada. It's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. Have an amazing, great day. Thank you for joining.